You are with the big story here. I'm Seher Zama. We are keeping the focus this afternoon on what's happening at the Sabarimala temple, third day of the pilgrimage. The Kerala police has been seen stepping up security, but this is more focused towards screening of women devotees who want to visit the shrine. Today being the third day, temple thrown open to devotees, the police is checking buses carrying devotees at key checkposts along the route to the shrine. All vehicles carrying devotees are being screened by the Kerala police, the police asking for ID proof of all women. While two women between the age of 10 to 50 managed to enter the temple in January this year, no women have been able to enter the shrine since. Our correspondent Pramod Madhav on ground at Sabarimala getting us this latest. On the images that he sent us, you can see how the Kerala police is actually openly flouting the Supreme Court's order on Sabarimala. This season, once again, women, as per the Supreme Court order, of all ages should be allowed to the temple. But the police here is screening them. The Kerala police checking buses, asking a female devotee for her ID card. Take a look.
ఐడి కార్డు లేదా మర్చిపోయాం ఇంటి దగ్గర మర్చిపోయానా 50 నుంచి పైన ఉన్నాడు కదా ఉన్నాడా ఏం ఐడి కార్డు వాడు పోలీస్ ఏరిచొచ్చు ఐడి కార్డు అంతే కదా ఇంకేం లేదు దిగన్నమాడా కింద దిగని చెప్పాడా లేదు లేదు సార్ వెళ్ళొచ్చు కదా పైన పైకి చెప్పలేదు పైకి చెప్పలేదు దిగని చెప్పాడా
Let's get in further details. Our correspondent Pramod getting us those inputs here. Pramod, on one end, you have the Kerala government here saying we're not doing anything about security of women who are interested, who are registered, who want to go up the temple shrine. It's for them to get in a court order if they wish to go for this pilgrimage. But the other end, the work instead that the police is doing, and which is an open flouting of the Supreme Court order in checking the age of women devotees and then asking them to leave, turn around and go back.
Well, we've been at Nilakal posted for the past 2 days, and not even once has the Kerala police have gone ahead and asked for the ID card of any devotee or anyone else coming in the vehicle, the bus especially. All they are looking for is a woman between the age of 10 to 50. If they feel that the woman is underage, they immediately go ahead and seek their ID card. The bigger trouble here is that most of these women come from Andhra Pradesh, just like the first day, how 10 women came from Vijayawada, and they do not have any understanding of the local language. The second problem is that they never thought that they have to bring an ID card to visit Sabarimala, and that is a bigger issue for them, because right now the police are asking for either Aadhaar card or some kind of identity proof, and that is becoming a bigger issue. Even in at certain sectors, immediately how the police are trying to find out is that they look at the women and they think that if they are under 50, they are asking all these questions, and if they don't have anything, the bus is actually rerouted. Instead of the bus going to Pamba, it goes to a parking spot at Nilakal where they have been investigated again, and if they can prove some sort of ID, they are sent to Pamba, or else they have to stay there until the group returns, and then they have to go back. This is the kind of way the Kerala police is actually handling now. This is the same thing the protesters were doing last year, the same issues being taken by and handled by Kerala government. When we asked the Devaswam board and when we asked the collector to provide such an information as to why this is being done, they could not give us a straight answer. They just simply try to avoid it or walk away.
All right, this is very clearly also now being caught on record with those images that you've sent us, that interaction that you had with one of the women devotees there, Pramod. Stay on with us. We're getting in more voices. We have Mr. M.B. Rajesh, who's the former Member of Parliament, CPIM. Also, Ms. Yogita Bayana, social activist. First to you, Mr. Rajesh, on what do you think about this interaction? The police there instead focusing more on scrutinizing the ID of women who are set to go up the temple shrine and asking them to leave if they feel they're between the age of 10 to 50.
The government and police can only implement a Supreme Court verdict. Earlier, there was a verdict by the Constitutional Bench of the Supreme Court of India, and the government tried to implement that verdict, and it created a lot of trouble. But still, the government and police took all measures to implement the Supreme Court judgments delivered on 20th September 2018. But unfortunately, the Supreme Court of India, in the recent judgments, the majority judgments, which has referred the matter to a 7-member larger bench. This verdict has created a confusion, and the government cannot take the blame of the confusion created by the majority judgment of the Supreme Court.
But Mr. Rajesh, there is no confusion on this. I'm sure the government has sought legal advice on this, but there is no confusion because the earlier judgment still stands, irrespective of what the next bench is to hear and discuss.
The court has specifically stated that. The minority judgment says that the earlier judgment is still in force, but the majority judgment has not mentioned or has not specifically stated that either there is a stay or the earlier judgment will prevail. So that has not been stated by the majority judgments, and the court is well aware.
But does it need to be specified, or you're just using this to your benefit that there is confusion? We can.
No. The Supreme Court is well aware of the incidents which took place when the government of Kerala implemented their own judgments. And still, the Supreme Court has created an atmosphere of confusion in the recent judgments. Let the court come out with a specific clarification that its earlier judgment still prevails. So we are not answerable to
Okay, so you're riding on the argument of this atmosphere of confusion. But if we speak to any legal voice, it is clear that there is no confusion. Yogita Bhayana, in your view, this atmosphere of confusion is something that the Kerala government wants to politically use today?
First of all, there is no confusion. They are creating that aura that there is a confusion.
Right.
There is no stay. It is very evidently there, and I'm surprised to see their stupid U-turn which they have taken suddenly, and where the cops are doing with something which is illegal. When there is no stay, how can they do something which is illegal? State government is in connivance with the cops. I think, first of all, a suo motu should be issued against the state, against the police. I mean, they are the protectors of the law. If they are, just shedding the law like this, I think we really have, I have no understanding of how a state runs like this. So I think a court should take a note of this, and till the time the clear judgment doesn't come off the seven bench, till the time stay is not there, so how can they contemplate something which is suiting their convenience? I think this is the confusion they want to create. So I think there is absolutely clarity on it. There is no stay. So I think they should abide by the law. They are the state government, and if they are doing something like this, it's a big shame. It's the biggest shame on the democracy and the constitution.
All right, and you think that this is an open floutation by the government, by the police, as per what the Supreme Court 2018 order here is. In fact, our correspondent Pramod there on this very issue, on why this is being projected as a confusion. Having confronted the Kerala Devasam minister here, evading Mirror Now's questions, the minister has refused to comment on this. Let's take a listen in.
The entry for the Kerala's, what is the state?
CM
like you want a court permission.
Sir, court permission.
Confusion.
Court order can women come to the temple, sir?
Court permission.
Court permission.
No permission not given, sir. Confusion.
In fact, let's get in another update here from our correspondent Pramod. Pramod, we're only 3 days down ever since the temple opened here for the final leg of the pilgrimage. How long is the Kerala government expecting that they can stretch this? They can stretch this by evading questions. There's still 2 months left, and building on the perception that there is a confusion. this allegation that they want to build against the Supreme Court?
Well, we can simply say that if there is a huge confusion or something like the Kerala government wants, it has no clarity, they can approach the Supreme Court anytime and get a clarity. The Kerala government has its own legal team, but they haven't done that so far. And here also the police are very clear. They have been given strict orders to make sure that women between the age of 10 to 50 do not cross Nilakal itself. You have to cross Nilakal, then you have to reach Pamba, and then you have to walk all the way up. But in Nilakal itself, you're not allowed to cross anymore. So these kind of strict restrictions have been placed. The Devaswam Board Minister, he says that only we are confused. They are not confused, but he's not ready to give an answer whether women between the age of 10 to 50 will be allowed or not. He only says that, like earlier, he said that they need court permission. What court permission? He does not want to give an answer. The Pathanamthitta collector also has no definitive answer. When we ask, like, will you not allow women between the age of 10 to 50? He says, did I say that so? Then if we ask, like, why the women are being screened in Nilakal, they do not have an answer. That way, they are putting the blame at the Supreme Court, and they claim that they do not have any clarity and they're not allowing it. But here, so far, it seems like Kerala government has definitely taken a U-turn. They are not going to allow 10 to 15, women between the age group 10 to 50, stating that there is no clarity in the Supreme Court order.
Mr. Rajesh, if this is about avoiding violence, because you said you provided that security earlier in the month of January in the previous season of pilgrimage, if this is about avoiding violence, this is huge injustice to those women who fought for their right, and you're depriving them despite on the backing of a Supreme Court order here.
See, our government had tried our level best to implement the Supreme Court order of 2018, and the CPIM, which is leading this government, is still of the view that women's rights to enter Sabarimala shrine should be observed, or it should be implemented. But where is a Supreme Court judgment?
No, then are you saying that the Kerala police is independently acting on turning away women devotees this season?
Please listen to me patiently. Say, let the Supreme Court take note of the situation. Let them give specific directions to the government, what the government should do, what verdict or what order the government should implement. The government is ready to implement whatever the Supreme Court directs. And we are, let me repeat, we are not answerable to any activist or any television channel, but we are only answerable to the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court feels that the government of Kerala has violated its verdict and direction, let the court intervene.
You're openly shedding the... you're openly shedding the
yes,
law.
Yogita, please respond.
And you are saying that you're only answerable to Supreme Court. You're not only going... Yeah, they are not even going by the Supreme Court. They are saying they're only answerable to Supreme Court. When they are not abiding by Supreme Court, how can they say they are okay? Not to us. Don't answer to us. At least abide by Supreme Court. I mean, how can you just not go by the...
Let the court intervene. That is why I said we are
let
not
the
going
court
to
intervene.
take the
Court has given a clear-cut judgment last year. You are doing something which is very illegal. You are not abiding by the Supreme Court. No. Why are you saying that on the face of it? You don't believe in law. You don't believe in Supreme Court of India. You should openly say that.
Panel.
They have not put a stay in us, sir. They have not put a stay on this. So you need to see that. So let the women go. Why your police? Why your police? Why your police is screening the devotees? Why are they screening the devotees? Why are they checking the Aadhaar card? It is a violation of the rights of the
panel.
Nobody should be.
Mr. M. Rajesh, please explain why women devotees are being screened in this manner. Mr. M. Rajesh, you've been given enough time to explain what the government is doing, what the state police is doing. Please explain this one point. Why are women devotees screened with their Aadhaar and ID cards? Why should they be screened? Why aren't the other devotees being screened? Out of a bus full of pilgrims at the base camp, only the women devotees, if present in the bus, are being screened. Why is that? What is it that you want to check then?
My specific answer is that it is for the Supreme Court to decide and judge whether the government of Kerala is acting illegally. It is for the Supreme Court to intervene. If it is for the Supreme Court to intervene, if the government of Kerala has flouted their verdicts, let the court decide, not to be decided by any activist or any television panelist.
But do you have an explanation on what the Kerala police is doing today? Under whose instructions, and what are these instructions that empower them to screen just women to check their ID cards? On what basis, please? Is this a high security zone that they're entering? No. Why does a citizen needs to be checked for a temple? Is it a high security zone? Is it a sensitive area?
Yeah.
What is the checking being done for?
Gender specific.
Yeah, it's a sensitive area. It's a sensitive area. Are you not aware of the
what is
sensitive
about it? Please tell me. Is it a security hazard?
Gender specific checking.
No. Please explain what is sensitive about this, Mr. Rajesh.
Which took place in Sabarimala last year. Are you not aware?
Are you saying it's a security hazard then? What is sensitive about this? Please explain. There's just anyone walking in for a pilgrimage here.
Last time when the government of Kerala implemented a Supreme Court order, there was violent attempts to prevent that order from being implemented. This time also, there are forces, there are elements which are trying to create
violent
security troubles in Sabarimala and the temple premises.
Most of the violence was created by the protesters, those who were protesting against the entry of the women. No violence was created by the women, those who wanted to enter. Why are you blaming the women? No, none of them created violence. All the stone pelting and everything was done by the people, so-called devotees of Sabarimala temple, so-called. They wanted to protest against the entry of women. They were the violent one, not the women, those who were trying to enter. They were just going. You guys protested. You wanted that kind of a situation, rights-like situation. You created it. Now you're blaming these innocent women, those who are going. It means you're judging only women because you think they can be violent. They can create riots. I mean, are you out of your mind? What are you saying? I mean, I'm so sorry to hear your argument. And you have been a public representative. If the public representative can be like you, I'm so sorry to hear your argument, sir. I'm so sorry.
I would like to, I would humbly request this panelist, this activist.
No, let's get in our correspondent Pramod here on this, because Mr. Rajesh, you clearly have no answers. You're sounding like an apologist of the government not being able to explain what they're doing today.
Who are you to judge? You are not a Supreme Court judge.
So we have the visual evidence. We have the visual evidence that the police is screening the women. Why just the women? Our correspondent Pramod is getting us those details here. Pramod, you've spoken to some of those women. The police refuses to speak. We saw how the minister also turned away your questions here. What is the larger understanding? What are these unspoken instructions? Because the police is determined about how they need to go about this. What are these unspoken instructions?
Well, we can simply say that the Kerala government has been defeated by the protesters and they have bowed down before the protesters. That's the way you can look at it, because like right now where I stand, this was kind of like a war zone last year, but you cannot see not even one single protester at this point. There is no protester at Nilakal, nor like Pamba, nor at Sabarimala. The entire place is clean. But even after that, the Kerala government has already decided that they will not allow women. That's the reason, instead of providing a direct answer, they are claiming that they have confusion, they need clarity, and they don't want to get the clarity from the Supreme Court. But any woman who wants...
I'm afraid we have to go across to breaking inputs here coming in. It's an important day at the Rajya Sabha today. Prime Minister Modi speaking, marking 250th session of it.